Yeah, Mr. Talk Reviews. We're back with another chapter of Undead Unluck. Now, if you love Undead Unluck, drop a like. And if you love Undead Unluck, say something in the comments. Now, let's get into this review. Undead Unluck 221, we're back at it with another live reaction, and I hope you guys are enjoying that intro. I guess it's going to be my intro for a little bit now. I just did it off the cuff last week, and I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep it around. I'll probably redo it with a royalty-free song. I do have a friend who actually makes music, so I might ask him to do a beat for me, and I can do a little radio voice intro over it. But that will be exciting to come, and if anyone's actually expecting me to do a live reaction for this, don't hold your breath. I'll probably do one at some point, but when it really comes down to it on a Sunday, I'm really chilling and relaxing, so sometimes I just don't feel like doing it, even though I said I would. But if I'm in the mood to do a live reaction that is actually live, then I will do that at some point. But yeah, let's get straight into the chapter. I'm excited to read what's going on, and we're starting off with a flashback as we do with these Undead Unluck chapters. So it looks like we're flashing back to Andy when he first woke up as Andy, when Remember was stuck in his head and reset all his memories. He's just going over the fact that all he knew that he was undead, he didn't know anything about himself. This chapter is titled Bad Loop, by the way. Okay, now again back into the fight. You know what I'm realizing right now? Ruin's name, they're calling Ruin, because that's his name. But I always forget whether to call him Ruin or Unruin, because they call him Ruin as if he's the rule, but he's the negator to the rule. I'm wondering what Uma Ruin thinks about this. Is he a special case? Is he a negator and a rule at the same time? Because he's bringing Ruin to the Union in the loop. He can negate Ruin for himself, but brings Ruin onto other people. It's kind of weird. I forgot what the battle scenery was. They're in space on top of the extending staff, and they're having this insane battle. It looks really cool. We got this one panel here where we just see from bird's eye view of the staff, and this Earth's in the background, and they're just sending out their attacks against each other. I'm just talking about how it's really fortunate that all the events from the previous loop happened again. The fact that Ruin was able to meet Uma Shadow and Uma Blood and get them to help him, and for him to also encounter Soul to get him stronger. Andy's saying he's actually grateful for those scenarios taking place because it brought them together like this so they can have this battle now. Now the Umas are talking to Andy, I think it's Uma Blood, or it might be Shadow because he looks kind of dark. But he's saying don't chat any nonsense to Ruin, basically, and that he won't get through to him. Specifically, he says he won't be able to save Ruin. Now I'm wondering, save him from what? It looks like Andy's buying off his tongue here. Oh, he just tried to do a little sneak shot at him. He can do the tongue bullet, I guess, now as well. That's pretty cool. I've been saying I want a new move, tongue bullet. That's a new move. Yeah, but Blood's talking about how this is the only salvation for Ruin, to negate all of the other negators and bring the end of the human world. I think a couple chapters ago, Ruin was talking about how he just hates the world or loves the world or something like that, and that's why he's doing whatever he's doing. But I feel like there is a deeper meaning to what he's doing. There's more to his character, because even then I was saying, give me something more, Ruin. Your motivations sound a bit simplistic. So yeah, I think there's more to Ruin's character, and I wonder what that's going to be. Okay, so he didn't use a tongue bullet. He just separated his tongue. Well, he did do a tongue bullet, but it wasn't for an attack purpose. It was so he could regenerate from his tongue. Dead Vulcan. I think we've seen this attack as well before. Now, Ruin's saying they have the same regeneration ability. What's the difference between them? And like I said before, Undead is a bit different to Unruin. I guess the regeneration aspect of it might be the same, but I haven't seen Ruin do the jet propulsion kind of bloodstream attacks Andy does. He's just been able to regenerate. I don't know why he thinks their ability is so damn similar. They're just both able to regenerate, not necessarily the same. You're not trying hard enough, I guess. Okay, now we're getting a flashback for Unruin. Okay, we might be getting into his character motivations in this chapter right now. So Ruin's skin burns in the daylight, apparently. He might have some medical condition, like I was saying before, but Ruin's motivation might be that his Unruin negation ability helped him with some sickness he had, and now he's grateful to God for that. And it looks like he's been abused by his father figure, probably. And to be honest, the silhouette form of this father figure is kind of a good juxtaposition to God, how all the Union are enemies of God, and he's just a black silhouette figure. And we're getting this flashback with Ruin, and his abuser is a black silhouette figure as well. So instead of God being his main enemy, It's this different black silhouette figure who is his father figure or whoever this is, his abuser. So he already has a main enemy. He hasn't got the capacity to fill that role with God, so he sides with God instead. Yeah, so yeah, this guy's he's just burning him with the oil. So the scars we see on him is because he was burnt with oil as a kid. I'm just assuming it's oil to leave that kind of scar. Maybe water, boiling water can leave those kind of scars. I don't really know about that, but he is being burnt, and that's why he has that massive scar. I guess maybe that didn't happen in the previous loop, or like I was saying, like Unruin is taking time to like heal that scar, and like because it was just around his eye. Maybe it did happen in the previous loop, but in the previous loop somehow it just happened to hit his eye instead. But on this loop, it just got his whole like side of his body. Kind of like that guy from My Hero. Is it Todoroki? I think that's his name. Okay, we come back from the flashback, and bro, Andy's handling this dude pretty easy. He's talking down to Ruin right now, saying the regeneration speed has a ways to go, and it looks like is Andy controlling his blood to capture shadow and blood because he's got these spheres sticking out his back. It looks like red orbs, look like it's blood. And I think he's used that to capture blood and shadow. That is something new. I've been saying I want something new. That is actually something new, more viable than the tongue bullets. Because yeah, he can harden his blood in it, because we can see right here with the blades through Ruin's head. Yeah, he can't harden his blood, so yeah, he creates some spears and harden that, and he's able to capture people now as well. Andy is insane. Like, even I don't even think Victor was doing this. Maybe Victor could probably still do this because Victor could harden his blood as well, I think. But maybe not. Maybe he never thought to do it as a sphere. Okay, so we got a bit of insight into how Andy's actually using the soul enhance ability to enhance his ability. He's giving Ruin some advice. First, he says he should study the human body more. So on a base level, just study the human body more so you know how to regenerate faster. I guess with more understanding of the body, knowing like what cells are dividing and splitting, like if you can consciously think about that and do those specific things faster, something like that, I guess. And that's a base level, just like learning your anatomy, like maybe making a mental image of how the bones are actually structured and shaped will help you to like regenerate faster. The next piece of advice Andy gives is pertaining to the soul. He says to use your soul to learn the regeneration sequence needed to resuscitate your consciousness. Now that just sounds like a whole load of big words, but I think it's akin to like how Nico said with his soul he can store his memories. So just like storing the information of how to keep your consciousness in your soul will allow you to like recall it straight away and like just always keep your consciousness, so your consciousness is kind of like imbued with your soul kind of thing. It's kind of hard to explain. And with all this advice he's given him and what the Uma was saying before, is Ruin actually going to become a ally? This whole piece of advice Andy's given Ruin ends with him basically saying life is all about endless growth cycles. And he actually says that he's reached the end of his growth cycle, like he can't grow anymore, but he means he can't grow anymore on his own. And I guess he probably should reach the max of how much he can grow on his own. He's had like 46 billion years. Was it 46? 4.6. It's 4.6 for this one loop cycle. He's had 4.6 billion years of a lone time experience to gather up. Now it's about to get some team action going on. Okay. So Fuuko's on the ground and she's been loading up some soul energy and she's shooting it right at Andy. Oh, okay. I read ahead a little bit. I read a couple pages ahead just so I can get the full scope of the information that's going on. But what's about to happen is insane. Okay, let's see it. So basically, Fuuko has loaded up a lot of unluck in her soul, shot it back right up to Andy. Andy shoots his soul that's loaded with unluck into Unruin. Now he's here talking all this mad shit. Oh, you're just stalling for time. I just gotta wait out the unluck because eventually the unluck will run out. We've seen this many times. They'll throw the meteors and then the unluck is done. But this is where we get the title of the chapter, Bad Loop. This is the type of undead unluck bullet this is. And I'm not actually sure what the unluck is. I think it just might be space debris just flying into him. So Andy's saying his soul will remain with Unruin, and Fuuko's soul will continue to touch his soul because Andy's soul's with Unruin. So that stroke of unluck won't stop until Unruin dies. This is an insane attack. If this is like Boruto's new like is it Azuko or a Hiko or something? His new Rasengan that won't stop until he turns it off because it's using the rotation of the earth. an unending attack. Will this work on God if he just keep him barraged with this unluck? Would this work on Sun? I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, maybe the unluck's not strong enough to kill him. But like with Victor, the unluck was able to capture him instead. So maybe the unluck would eventually find a way to capture Sun. But yeah, this is an insanely powerful technique. Like I said, I wanted to see something new, and he's giving me something new. And now Andy's talking to Cloffy and asks him what does he think, and Cloffy says it's fine, and he releases Blood and Shadow. But I don't know why he asked Cloffy. It was those balls on his back was actually Cloffy doing something, but no, it looks like it dispersed like blood. I think it is blood from Andy, but this shows insane confidence in this ability. Like Andy's telling him, yeah, go and try and save him. That unluck won't stop. And it seems like the master rules are coming into the scene because Andy says they're here. And we see some streaks in the sky, so it seems like, yeah, they're coming now. The master rules. We're getting into the probably final saga of this manga. Because I've been thinking about that. Is there going to be any twist to make Undead Unluck go for even more chapters? Because the way it's going now, I think it'll be ending within the 300 chapters, if it even makes it to 300. But yeah, I think it's going to be around the 300 and something chapter manga, unless there's another twist that keeps it going for a while longer. I'd love it to be a 500 chapter manga, but yeah, I think it will come to an end within the next few years. Okay, final scene of the chapter, and Andy is just hype. He is calling on to the Master Rules, telling them to just bring it on, basically. And yeah, it looks like this is the end of the fight. Are the Master Rules not going to participate in quests? Are they just going to be about? Or is it still going to be limited to the quest? That's what I'm wondering. It doesn't seem like it's going to be limited to quests. One thing I want to talk about really quick is the fact that the unluck will stay with Ruin. How does that work? Because in the battle with Beast, I'm pretty sure Soul or Luna said that the soul eventually returns to the owner. I guess unless it's imbued in an actual living being. Okay, so in the fight with Beast, Soul does say a piece of a soul detached from one's physical body will return to that body after a set time. But the thing is, Julia, I was actually like taking the soul out of those dead corpses that Beast created. So the soul was out in the open, not in anything living, not inhabiting anything. So I guess that's why it would automatically go back after a set piece of time. But Andy's soul is actually within Ruin. So unless Andy recalls his soul back, I think, then that piece of his soul will just stay in there forever. Or Andy's just really good with the soul manipulation. He's able to like just keep the soul in Ruin indefinitely. So it's either Andy's really good at soul manipulation, or the rules stipulate that once it's within a body, then it won't return back. But with Fuuko's Unluck, why doesn't it fade away? I guess it's because it's mixed with Andy's soul. I guess I'm gonna assume for now, maybe until we get a bit more like explanation on it, that Andy's just that good at using the soul manipulation. He's able to keep her soul within Ruin indefinitely. So whilst editing, I was still trying to piece it all together what was happening with the bad loop. And what I think it is the fact that Andy's soul is undead. So it's constantly like regenerating, has that undead aspect to it. That's why it's perpetually still going on within Ruin. And because he already linked Fuuko's Unluck to his soul, that means there's a perpetually regenerating Undead Unluck soul going on within Ruin, and that's why it keeps on staying within Ruin and the Unluck won't subside. So I think that's what's going on. Because Andy's soul is like kind of like sturdier and it will always stay, that allows for a perpetual Unluck to be always befalling Unruin. But yeah, that is all I have for this chapter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.